I have become the laughing stock of this congregation because of my incessant questions. They never cease. And I have yet another one, Sadhguru. I was wondering if Krishna had been in that court when that Draupadi Chirharan was happening, how in his playfulness and yet in his statesmanship, how he would have averted that scene, because I know it could never have happened with Krishna being there. It happened with all the great stalwarts being in that court, but Krishna alone would have made all the difference.
This is, it's good that she brought this up at this point. Who told you you're a laughing stock? They laugh at everything, they've become like that. If your stocks in laughter has gone up, that's good. So, when Draupadi was being disrobed in public, Krishna was not there. He was not even aware of the scene, because when he came to Rajasuya Yajna just before this, Shalva, another king who held a grudge against him, came and ransacked Dwaraka completely. Killed and burnt homes and burnt cattle and burnt everything. So Yadavas, those who got killed, though others just ran into the forest and hid. And on top of it, Shalva kidnapped Krishna's father Vasudeva and took him away. So by the time Krishna reached there, the whole place was just burnt and devastated. People were all hiding in the mountains and forests. After he came, they came down and he reorganized the people and building the city back and sending his son to go and somehow get the release of his father who was kidnapped. This is what he was involved in at that time, so he was completely not aware of what was happening here in Hastinapur. So if he is not at all aware, how did he reach out to Draupadi? So yesterday this question came about grace. We should have looked at it there. This is a constant question for it's a constant question that's coming to me in so many forms. Some gently, some very arrogantly, some sarcastically, some almost in an accusing way, or some blatantly accusing, so many ways. So Krishna is not aware of Draupadi's predicament. So how did that miracle happen, that she was guarded? You need to understand this. For the grace to function, I need not be aware of what's happening to you. Mentally, I need not be aware of what's happening. A certain investment of energy is made which takes care of itself. If you wish to be aware, you can be aware, it's possible. But most of the time you don't wish to be aware because it's too many things happening. It is just a certain investment has been made and that takes care of those events. Those who are receptive to it, for them it works. Those who are not receptive, it'll not work. Somewhere else when this came up, I think Uddhava says, in many situations, I have seen you beyond any doubt that you are a divine manifestation. You're definitely not another ordinary man. There is so much about you which is beyond man. But why these problems, you can't just handle it like that for people. Somebody is struggling, why can't we just do that? So Krishna smilingly said, nobody can work a miracle unless the recipient is in full faith. Even the great god Mahadeva comes, he cannot work a miracle unless there is a receptivity of faith. So don't expect such things, that when people are not receptive, that you will work miracles. it'll not work. It's a very beautiful story which we have been telling. One day Krishna was having lunch. Satyabhama was serving him. Halfway through the meal, he just got up and he said, one of my devotees is in trouble, I need to go. And he just washed his hands and left. He went till the gate, then stopped there, turned around and came back. Satyabhama asked, what happened? You left the lunch like this and went away saying your devotee is in trouble, and now you just turned back and came. What happened? Then Krishna said, a devotee of mine who was chanting, who was calling out Krishna, Krishna, with his eyes closed, a hungry tiger approached him. He would be killed. So I thought I will reach out and I went. But by the time I went near the gate, the fool picked up a stone in his hand. So I turned back and came. So, for grace to function, it is not that the person who is the source of that grace has to be mentally aware of those situations. It's not at all necessary. The necessary investment of energy has been made which functions by itself. It is just that one has to open up the bounty that's been kept. I think Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was much more fortunate than Krishna or anybody else for that matter, because he managed to work up more faith in people and things happen in many ways. Now don't think of faith in terms of people are every day talking about miracles, they just lost control over their imagination. Things happening which will leave people transformed. So, Krishna himself in his life could generate faith in lots of people, but still not in the same measure of who he is. For who he is, much more should have happened. But it did not happen. But I don't see it as a surprise. That's always been so. When the greatest ones come, greatest things did not happen because they were too far out. A little medium-scale ones did better with people in many ways, though they cannot take them to the ultimate. On certain levels they did better because they operated on the levels that people understand. In terms of grace and grace being accessible and available to people, unless one creates that openness which can only happen when you're willing to keep yourself aside. If you pick up the stone in your hand and then say, Krishna, Krishna, it doesn't work like that. If you pick up the stone in your hand and say, Sadhguru, Sadhguru, even if I want to, it doesn't work because it's subtle. It's very, very subtle. And it is not at all necessary that one should be mentally aware of what's happening. It is not essential at all. So, Krishna was not aware of Draupadi's predicament at that moment, but still it happened. Sannidhi means you're seeking grace, to live in grace. Beyond that, there's nothing more to seek. Grace means it is the ultimate nourishment for this life.
The minute Sannidhi came to our house, we really have a life-transforming things happening in our house. There's a pleasantness in the house which I can't tell. It's as if we are in a temple, and as if Sadhguru is there, because it's a very powerful presence I feel. The experience sometimes brings tears in me because I don't think so. I deserve that much. We are always thankful to Sadhguru for this.